Right now at 6:30, we're learning more about the woman killed in her Wanakee apartment this weekend. As community members are remembering her, how you can help the family. Plus, we're waiting to hear from the University of Wisconsin football program after a star player announces he's taking a leave of absence from the team pending criminal charges. And are you ready to show some pride? Road closures are ahead today for one of Madison's biggest parades.
This is News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us for News 3 This Morning, Sunday. It is August 19th. I'm Josh Breiter. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti is in for Chris this morning. Another hazy start out there. It seems like we're just stuck in this pattern.
Yeah, we got the fog, and today my allergies kicked in. I don't know about you, but ragweed season is right on top of us. So maybe some rain tomorrow will wash out some of that pollen from the air. But this morning it's the fog. Visibilities in many locations less than a mile. Some places like the Baraboo Dells Airport in Juneau reporting near zero visibility. So because of that, a dense fog advisory is in effect until 9 a.m. for the central part of our viewing area, including Sauk, Columbia, Dodge, Iowa, Dane, and Jefferson counties. Now, we also have an alert day in the forecast for tomorrow for showers and thunderstorms. It could bring an inch or two of rain, and that's not good news for people who have already gotten a lot of rain last week. Current temperatures this morning are in the 50s north of Madison. Here in Madison, we're at 60. They're in the lower to middle 60s south and west of Madison. Those temperatures very close to the dew points. That's why we're seeing the fog. Look for those temperatures to climb into the lower 80s as the fog lifts by mid-morning and skies turn partly sunny. As we take a look at first alert traffic, there's the view on the Beltline this morning at Park Street. Very quiet conditions. The fog not too bad, at least along the Beltline. A few slowdowns southbound on US 51 south of the Beltline, and also on US 12 eastbound. We've seen some slow traffic there. Otherwise, interstate south and east of Madison and north and west of Madison in good shape. That's your first alert traffic.
Quiet start, that's always a good thing, right?
It is.
All right, Gary, thank you. We begin with a developing story this morning. We are still waiting to hear from the University of Wisconsin after a football player says he's been forced to take a leave of absence pending criminal charges. That player is wide receiver Quintez Cephas. The junior posted a letter on Twitter Saturday night saying he is taking a leave of absence from the team indefinitely as he deals with legal issues. Cephas says he could potentially be charged for an incident that happened in April. He says he has been wrongfully accused of unlawful conduct. He adds that he is innocent of any allegations in what was a consensual relationship. We reached out to the Madison Police Department. Madison Police Chief Mike Koval says in part that they are aware of the statement Cephas made on social media, but they will not be commenting further, and that this is an open investigation where they are waiting for a decision from the district attorney's office. Cephas is coming off of a season where he led the team in touchdown catches and receiving yards, but he missed the last 5 games of the last season after he broke his right leg in Indiana. His return to the field was highly anticipated this season, which actually starts in 13 days now. To Wanakee now, where the Dane County Medical Examiner has identified the woman fatally shot Friday night. Police say Julie Anderson was killed after a man broke into her apartment on Kearney Way. The community is spending the weekend remembering her. A vigil was held in her honor last night.
Wanakee is just such a special place because we've always supported one another. I've been in a situation myself where the community just rallied around me in a really difficult time. Even though it doesn't take the pain away, it just kind of lifts you up, and I felt that that was important for them.
The organizer you just heard from says she didn't know Julie personally, but she felt it was important for the family to know the community was behind them during this hard time. Joseph said she was working for about 50 to 100 people to show up and honor Julie and her family. A 74-year-old man is in jail this morning facing a first-degree murder charge in that case. According to police, Ronald Jenny shot his across-the-hall neighbor while her teenage son and 4-year-old grandson were also in that unit. A neighbor of both the accused shooter and the victim heard gunshots and found the victim dead in her bedroom.
It hasn't hit me yet. I have not settled down. So I'm still, my heart's still racing 12 hours later. It'll hit me sometime coming up. Right now, I'm just been thinking about the boys.
Wanakee police say this is the first homicide in 10 years in that village and that it was an isolated event. If you want to help Julie Anderson's family, there's also a GoFundMe page set up. As of this morning, the community has already raised more than $10,000 for the family. You can find a link on channel3000.com. We have two First Alert traffic notes to pass along this morning. First, a lot of downtown streets are going to be closed for the Outreach Pride Parade today. Capitol Square will be shut down from 11 o'clock this morning until 2 this afternoon. And the intersection of State Street and the square will be staying closed until 4 for a post-parade rally. All roads that intersect with State Street except North Lake are also going to be closed this afternoon. You can find a full list of those closures and bus detours on the City of Madison's website. For anyone driving to Illinois, nightly lane closures start tomorrow for the I-39-90 expansion project. Those are happening in the northbound and southbound lanes near Beloit and the state border. I-43 northbound will also have single lane closures in both directions. The DOT is asking people to prepare for delays from 8 at night to 5 in the morning Monday through Friday next week. These closures will be happening off and on for at least the next few months. As students head back to school in Rock County and across the area, the street in front of Beloit Memorial High School will be closed starting tomorrow morning for the next year to help keep students safe there. The city and school district made the decision after 50 car accidents were reported on one block of 4th Street over the last year and a half. That block separates the school parking lot from the school's front door. Now students will be able to walk across without worrying about cars. This is a one-year closure, and next summer they'll be reevaluating whether to keep it closed in the future. Staying in Beloit, the city is setting aside 6 hours this week to talk about the town of Beloit's desire to become a village. There are millions of dollars at stake if the town incorporates. Both the city and county are opposed. Alliant Energy now pays the town and county a fee for its power generation facilities located in the town of Beloit. If it incorporates, the town would get twice as much money from Alliant as the county would. It would also prevent the city from annexing part of the town in the future. Beloit town voters could ultimately decide its fate next spring. A public hearing on the issue is set from 1 to 7 tomorrow afternoon in the Beloit Turner High School auditorium. New this morning, students in Mount Horeb are preparing to head back to school tomorrow for the first time since a spike in suicides among young people over the summer. As kids return to the classroom for the new school year, teachers and school staff are prepared to answer some tough questions. Over the summer, 2 Mount Horeb graduates were just 19 and 21 years old. They died by suicide. At least 3 Mount Horeb School District graduates or students have died by suicide since November. The death of a 10-year-old this summer is also being investigated as a possible suicide, according to police. The school board has been discussing ways to try to prevent future suicides, including hiring therapists and social workers in the schools. I will have much more on the Mount Horeb community's efforts to address mental health tomorrow morning on News 3 This Morning. A recent report from the Department of Justice says most victims of sex crimes in the state are teenagers under the age of 18. That study found it's most common for the attacker to know the victim but not be a family member. That could include an acquaintance, coworker, boss, or neighbor. The DOJ report comes as the rate of sex offenses increased 14% between 2013 and 2017. Republican U.S. Senate candidate Leah Vukmir is making a few stops around the state this weekend, campaigning to unseat Senator Tammy Baldwin this November. She told people at the Fitchburg Republican Party field office Saturday that Republicans need to unite to make sure Baldwin doesn't get another 6 years in office.
She was in Eau Claire not that long ago, campaigning with Bernie Sanders, who wants government-run, full socialized medicine. Now, can you imagine how much fun I'm going to have debating her on the differences between free market health care and government-run health care? Who do you think is going to win that debate?
Vukmir is a nurse from Brookfield, campaigning as a mom with a cause. She wants to repeal the Affordable Care Act and replace it with free market solutions. On Thursday, a group of nurses and healthcare professionals protested her healthcare agenda at the Capitol. The Democratic Party of Wisconsin sent out a statement in response to Vukmir's visit, saying she isn't on Wisconsin's side. A spokesperson says corporate special interests handpicked Vukmir and she's, quote, selling out Wisconsin working families, retirees, and kids. 6:39 is your time. Right now, the new interim alder for Madison's 13 district says he does not plan to run for re-election in April next year. Alan Artson was officially sworn in at a Common Council meeting earlier this month, beating out 11 other applicants. He is a recently retired trial lawyer. In a blog post this weekend, he wrote that his goal is to serve people in the district as best he can over the next 8 months, but offered to meet with anyone interested in taking over the position after that. 6:40 this morning, the weekend started off with an abundance of sunshine, and more of the same is on the way today. But we have to get through a little bit of more fog and haze this morning. A live look from our WISC sky cam. You can see it's another hazy start out there. Gary will have your full first alert forecast coming up in just a moment. And it's a growing downtown festival on the Capitol Square that's free-flowing and improvisational. Behind-the-scenes look at Jazz on 5 when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues.
Now, fog is an issue again across southern Wisconsin this morning. There are areas where there's very little fog, and then you might drive a few miles and go to an area where visibilities are near zero. So be aware when you're out driving this morning, at least through mid-morning before the fog starts to lift generally across southern Wisconsin. But out of the major reporting stations, the Madison Airport now reporting a visibility of 3 miles, but zero visibility being reported at the Baraboo Dells Airport, Mineral Point, and Watertown, and half-mile visibility in Juneau, quarter-mile visibility in Lone Rock and Boscobel. So fog is pretty thick, especially through the central part of our viewing viewing area. Dense fog advisories in effect there, as well as parts of north central Illinois into the central portion of the state there until 9 a.m. Now, on Doppler track, no rain across southern Wisconsin. That's good news. We widen out the view. Nearest showers and thunderstorms are up in North Dakota and northwestern Minnesota along a cold front. That weather system will move in during the day tomorrow, bringing us showers and thunderstorms. And while severe weather is expected to stay to our south, there's not going to be a lot of it, maybe some gusty winds and a stronger thunderstorm. Heavy rainfall is a possibility. So because of that, we have an alert day in the forecast for tomorrow for showers and thunderstorms. It could bring anywhere from 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rain generally across southern Wisconsin, with localized amounts over 2 inches. If some of that falls in areas that received very heavy rain last week, that's going to lead to some problems with flooding. And you can see the precipitation potential through Tuesday evening. Generally about 1 to 2 inches of rain expected over southern Wisconsin, lesser amounts in the northern portion of the state. Live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville, seeing a little bit of fog on the horizon, but not too much, at least around the camera itself. The WISC Skycam is above the fog right now, some low fog, but still pretty good visibility around here. Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison, not showing too much fog there either. As we check out our current conditions, right now we're at 59 degrees. The air is calm, humidity at 100%, and that's what's leading to fog across parts of the area. On weather tracking, you can see the showers and thunderstorms out to the west of us. Those are moving in our direction. We will see those by tomorrow afternoon. Areas of fog this morning will lift, then skies will turn partly sunny. Temperatures climbing to around 77 by lunchtime. This afternoon's high temperature at 82 degrees under partly sunny skies. As we look at future track, you can see the fog thinning out, temperatures climbing into the lower 80s. Tonight we'll see partly cloudy skies with some patchy fog and low temperatures in the mid-60s. But tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms will move in, especially during the afternoon hours. High temperatures will be in the middle 70s. Again, rainfall amounts 1 to 1.5 inches generally across southern Wisconsin. Some localized amounts over 2 inches in some spots. As we take a look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, again, an alert day in the forecast for Monday for that rainfall potential. But by the middle part of the week, we'll see temperatures in the upper 70s drying out, some showers and storms Friday, and then even warmer weather as we head from next weekend into the following week.
All right, Gary, thank you.
You're welcome.
Time right now is 6:46 this morning. A longtime Madison music series on Wednesday nights is trying to mimic the success of concerts on the square. Jazz at 5 has been going on for the last 25 years. After running on volunteers, it now has its first staff member to expand its vibe. News 3 photojournalist Melissa Baling takes us there.
The various different art groups and see if the arts group matches the diversity of Madison, and they normally don't. If you go to jazz, we're everything. I mean, it's a music that came from New Orleans. The players are all different ethnic groups. We have fusion, we have gypsy, we have New Orleans, we have bebop, we have Ladies Must Swing.
We encourage conversation at our tables, trying to make sure everyone has a good time, feels the jazz experience. And I'm the first event director for Jazz at 5. We've just been trying to get more younger kids involved in Jazz at 5, trying to show that it's not a bunch of old men. And it's open for picnicking on the Capitol grounds too. We're trying to work on getting some more speakers set up so you can hear it out here.
We look at ourselves as trying to make downtown Madison a better place to be. We're like concerts. I mean, people that go to concerts aren't necessarily symphony fans. They're downtown Madison fans. They want to have a great time. They want to sit in the Capitol grounds. They want to enjoy their friends. We want to do all those things, only have a jazz cabaret as the background instead of a symphony.
In the end, it's more than just a concert, what we're trying to do. We're just trying to throw everyone a good time in this area.
The Jazz at 5 series is at the top of State Street every Wednesday night through September 5th. 6:48 this morning. Still ahead, changing lives one stitch at a time. How a local sewing artist is using her talent to help families cope with a loss. Her story coming up next, only on News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Well, the time is just about 6:52. Visibility still very limited in some areas. Some places reporting zero or near zero visibility. So dense fog advisories in effect for much of the central portion of our viewing area, including Madison, through 9 a.m. Current temperatures are in the upper 50s from Madison to the north and east, and the 60s to the south and west. Dew point temperatures are very close to the temperatures, but range from the upper 50s to the middle 60s. And those temperatures over the next 12 hours gradually climbing to the lower 80s by later this afternoon as the fog lifts and skies turn partly sunny. Should be a nice afternoon, but showers and thunderstorms are on the way for tomorrow. I'll have more details and weather in a few minutes.
All right, Gary, thank you. She's a sewing artist using her skills to help grieving families cope. A Cottage Grove woman has a talent that has allowed many families to have a beautiful goodbye to loved ones. She let our Jamie Perez into her workspace to share how she's helped dozens of families deal with loss through a needle and thread.
So this is the beginning.
There's something beautiful about life and death. Life through the sun-split trees, it propels us. But death and what comes after is what propels Annie Shep.
See how they're forming? I'll never get to see my daughter go to prom, her wedding. Well, I can make that happen in a sense.
Annie makes it so death isn't the end.
I look at a gown and I think of what I can use from it.
She makes what are called angel gowns.
I use the strangest tools. Depends on how big of a pleat I want. I go like that, down, so.
For those who have lost.
And there were some that were miscarriages, or babies born in stillbirth.
Made from donated wedding gowns.
Wedding gowns donated to me almost immediately.
Turned into burial outfits for those whose life ended too soon.
This is what I do.
But this is a product of her own loss.
Pamela wanted me to sew, so that's what I'm doing.
Pam is Annie's daughter.
Her time went too soon.
Pam died of a sudden brain aneurysm on July 15th, 2011.
7 years for me, and some days it feels just like yesterday.
This is how she's able to cope so many years later.
This is her wedding dress. This is Pamela. She had a beautiful smile.
With more than 100 gowns made to this date, every stitch and sew, this is Annie's new love to honor Pam's memory.
I'm thinking of my daughter.
It could be a miscarriage, stillbirth, sudden infant death syndrome. That's what led Betty to Annie.
I can't thank them enough for the gift that they had shared with us. It truly meant everything, and it was one of the most difficult things that we've ever experienced. And they just made it that much better knowing that we weren't alone.
Betty's granddaughter Victoria died of SIDS 2 years ago. She was buried in this gown. Today is the 2-year anniversary of her death.
It meant everything because, I'm sorry, because she is an angel now. And the gown was absolutely beautiful. And knowing that maybe when she crossed over, maybe her daughter recognized her gown and she'll hold my baby for me now.
A thought that propels Annie back to this.
I just come down here to reflect. I feel this is my happy spot, even though it's also my grieving spot.
To be an angel forever starts with love.
Start pulling the pearls off of there.
With fabric and a sewing needle. And ends with something beautiful.
This is the outside.
In Cottage Grove, Jamie Perez, WISC. News.
If you'd like to learn more about Annie's free public service, you can contact her on her Facebook page. Just search Pamela's Wish from Heaven. Well, time right now is 6:56 this morning. There's more ahead here on News 3 This Morning Sunday. The day's top stories are next, including the very latest on the star Wisconsin football player who's taking a leave of absence from the team pending criminal charges. But first, here's a preview of what's to come on an all-new For the Record.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Neil Heinen. Today on For the Record, we will kick off the United Way of Dane County's 2018 annual campaign and Seasons of Caring. It's the year of transformation at United Way and the community it represents and serves, and there's lots of exciting new stuff to talk about. United Way of Dane County President and CEO Renee Moe and 2018 campaign chair, First Business Bank President and CEO Corey Chambus will join me to talk about that and about how we can all be Dane changers. That's coming up this morning at 10:30 on WISC.
Do you have what it takes to become a genius? What some of the world's smartest people have in common.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good Sunday morning and welcome back to News 3 This Morning Sunday. It is 7 o'clock on this August 19th. I'm Josh Breiter. Gary has your Sunday forecast in a moment, but first, this morning we are still waiting to hear from the University of Wisconsin. This after a football player says he's been forced to take a leave of absence pending criminal charges. Junior wide receiver Quintez Cephas posted a letter on Twitter announcing he's taking a leave of absence from the team indefinitely as he deals with legal issues. Cephas says he could potentially be charged for an incident that happened in April. He says he has been wrongfully accused of unlawful conduct, adding he is innocent of any allegations in what was a consensual relationship. Madison Police Chief Mike Koval says his department is aware of the statement Cephas made on social media, but they will not be commenting further on the open investigation. This morning, a 74-year-old man is in jail facing a first-degree murder charge in the death of Julie Anderson. According to police, Ronald Jenny shot his across-the-hall neighbor at an apartment on Kearney Way in Waunakee Friday night. We're told her teenage son and 4-year-old grandson were also in the unit at that time. A neighbor of both the accused shooter and the victim heard gunshots and found the victim dead in her bedroom. A recent report from the Department of Justice says most victims of sex crimes in the state are teenagers under the age of 18. That study found it's most common for the attacker to know the victim but not be a family member. That could include an acquaintance, coworker, boss, or neighbor. The DOJ report comes as the rate of sex offenses increased 14% between 2013 and 2017. 7:02 is your time right now, and Gary, we're still dealing with a little bit of fog out there to start us off.
Some places more than a little bit of fog, Josh. We got zero visibility is being reported in some areas. Prairie du Chien now coming in with a zero visibility, as well as Mineral Point, the Baraboo Dells Airport, Watertown, and Juneau. Still a 3-mile visibility officially at the Dane County Regional Airport, but the fog definitely thickest through the central part of our viewing area. Dense fog advisory in effect for all of this area, including Dane County, until 9 a.m. Also includes parts of northern Illinois as well. We also have an alert day in the forecast for tomorrow. Showers and thunderstorms could produce somewhere in the neighborhood of about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rain generally, with some localized amounts over 2 inches. Areas that already got heavy rain last week certainly don't need any more rain, and that could lead to some problems with flooding. Weather track, things pretty quiet around here. Showers and thunderstorms out to the west probably won't reach us until late tomorrow morning or early tomorrow afternoon. Current temperatures are in the upper 50s to the lower 60s. Here in Madison, we're right at 60 degrees. To our southwest, temperatures a little bit warmer in the lower to middle 60s. And dew point temperatures are generally in the mid to upper 60s over southwestern Wisconsin. Temperatures will gradually climb to the lower 80s as the fog lifts and skies turn partly sunny. As we take a look at first alert traffic, here's the view from the DOT camera on the Beltline at Park Street. Very quiet traffic this morning. Fog not too bad on the Beltline. Do see some delays southbound on US 12 approaching Middleton, and also a couple of delays from time to time on the eastbound Beltline. Otherwise, traffic moving pretty steadily on both ways in the Beltline. About a 15-minute trip between University Avenue and the interstate. 28 minutes from Janesville down Janesville to the Beltline. 20 minutes in from Sauk City to Middleton, and 14 minutes to downtown from Sun Prairie. That's your first alert traffic.
All right, Gary, thank you. We have 2 first alert traffic notes to pass along this morning. First, a lot of downtown streets are going to be closed for the Outreach Pride Parade today. Capitol Square will be shut down from 11 o'clock this morning until 2 this afternoon. And the intersection of State Street and the square will stay closed until 4 for a post-parade rally. All roads that intersect with State Street except North Lake are also going to be closed this afternoon. You can find that full list of closures and bus detours on the City of Madison's website. For anyone driving to Illinois, nightly lane closures start tomorrow for the I-39/90 expansion project. Those are happening in the northbound and southbound lanes near Beloit and the state border. I-43 northbound will also have single lane closures in both directions. The DOT is asking people to prepare for delays from 8 at night to 5 in the morning, Monday through Friday this week. These closures will be happening off and on for the next few months. Right now, we're learning more about the woman who died in a crash on I-39 southbound at East Washington Avenue Friday morning. The Dane County Medical Examiner has identified her as Tatiana Blackburn of Ontario, Canada. Officials say she was the passenger in a Honda Civic when the driver lost control and hit the median just before 5:30 that morning. A pickup truck then hit the car, causing it to spin into the far right lane where a delivery truck hit it again. The 3 drivers are expected to be okay. This morning, the State Patrol and Medical Examiner are still investigating. New this morning, CBS Sunday Morning is taking a look at what it takes to be a genius. Mo Rocca has been giving that some thought.
Albert Einstein, Madame Curie, theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking, who died this past March.
All my life, I have sought to understand the universe.
We know they're all geniuses, but what does that mean?
For me, genius is not just a question of intellectual capacity. It's the ability to do and think beyond the borders of most of the rest of us.
And back in the 1970s, Vint Cerf, now at Google, and his colleague Bob Kahn did just that when they helped create the Internet, ingeniously interconnecting existing networks and, this is crucial, welcoming users to build more.
I wanted everybody in the world to have access to this.
This earth-shaking innovation touches just about everything we do today.
Part of genius is having a type of vision that then spurs others to do great things.
Which is why, says author Walter Isaacson,
a lot of my
Vint Cerf is a genius.
Genius is a word that gets tossed around a lot these days. Has it suffered from word inflation?
Absolutely. We slap the word genius on people who are just really smart, but we all know that smart people are a dime a dozen.
The Making of a Genius will air on CBS Sunday morning immediately following this newscast at 8. Well, the blockbuster movie Little Miss Sunshine is now a musical, and it hit the Play Circle Theater at the Memorial Union this week. Our Michael Bruno goes backstage to check out Music Theater of Madison's production of Little Miss Sunshine when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues.
Well, fog continues over parts of southern Wisconsin. Some areas have very little in the way of fog. Other places have very thick fog. In fact, if we take a look at the current visibilities across southern Wisconsin, many locations reporting near zero visibility or visibilities down to around 1/4 of a mile, especially down in the Wisconsin River Valley from Prairie du Chien through Boscobel and Lone Rock and up toward the Dells. And then also another area of dense fog over areas that received heavy rain in recent days across Dodge and Jefferson counties. But a dense fog advisory remains in effect until 9 a.m. for the central portion of our viewing area. Also includes parts of north central Illinois. Doppler track, very quiet across southern Wisconsin. No rain here, but the next showers and thunderstorms already starting to push into northwestern Minnesota. We probably won't see the rain until sometime late tomorrow morning or early tomorrow afternoon. Now, the severe weather outlook for tomorrow does call for a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms across much of Illinois. Gusty winds would be the main threat there, but around southern Wisconsin, the big problem may be heavy rain, anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of rain generally across southern Wisconsin, with some localized amounts over 2 inches. And of course, if that falls in an area that got heavy rain last week, that could lead to some localized flooding. So we do have an alert day in the forecast for tomorrow for that potential. Otherwise, the live view from the Edgewater Sky Cam in downtown Madison starting to show some sun, starting to peek through the clouds and the fog. Temperature right now is 60 degrees, the air calm, the humidity 100%. That's a good setup for fog. Showers and thunderstorms out to the west of us are starting to creep eastward. A couple of areas of low pressure will eventually combine and move just to the south of Wisconsin, also dragging a cold front in from the west. And that'll drop temperatures from the 80s today into the 70s for tomorrow. Temperatures right now, 50s and 60s. The dew point temperature is still around 60 here. The higher dew points around 70 or farther to the south. But on future track, you can see those showers and storms steadily heading in our direction. We will probably see them by late tomorrow morning or more likely tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night. Forecast for this morning calls for areas of fog. Otherwise, it'll become partly sunny. Temperatures climbing to around 77 by lunchtime. This afternoon's high temperature at 82 with partly sunny skies. On future track, you can see the fog thinning out. Temperatures climbing to the low 80s with partly sunny skies. For tonight, partly cloudy skies, some areas of fog developing late with lows in the mid-60s. And tomorrow, those showers and thunderstorms approaching from the west and southwest. High temperatures in the upper 70s. Rainfall amounts, again, 1 to 2 inches through parts of southern Wisconsin. Hard to say exactly who's going to get what, but if you get caught underneath one of the heavier thunderstorms, 2 inches certainly not out of the question. 7 to 10 day forecast after showers come to an end on Tuesday. Dry weather for Wednesday and Thursday. Another round of showers and thunderstorms Friday, and a warm front will bring temperatures up into the 80s for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week. So some more summer weather down the road for us, Josh.
Decent temperatures, though. I'll take temperatures in the 70s, Gary.
That'll feel comfortable.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Well, we've been asking you to share your morning with us. Check out this photo Jennifer Harris posted on Facebook. You can see some of that fog we've been dealing with out there. Thanks so much for sharing, Jennifer. So what does your morning look like? Be sure to take a picture and post it to the Channel 3000 Facebook page, or you can find us on Instagram or Twitter and use that hashtag MyNews3Morning. And then that's how we share our favorites right here on News 3 This Morning. 7:14 is your time. Little Miss Sunshine started out as a relatively small budget movie. With an $8 million budget, it grossed more than $100 million and won 2 Academy Awards in 2006. Now it's a stage show which the Musical Theater of Madison is staging this month. Our Michael Bruno goes backstage to check out Little Miss Sunshine.
Little Miss Sunshine is based on the Academy Award-winning film from 2006, and it's a story about a pretty dysfunctional family. It's sort of on the brink of disaster, like a lot of William Finn's shows. And they end up taking Olive, who is 8 years old, from New Mexico to California for a beauty pageant that she really wants to be part of. And on the way there, they get in this VW bus from the 1970s, and the bus breaks down, and then all kinds of other chaos ensues. And then once they get to the pageant, Olive surprises everybody with what she's got for them.
I know it's never happened before, and I know it probably never will, not until the day that I become dum-diddy-dum-dum-dum-diddy-dum. She's a quirky little girl, and she spends a lot of time with her grandpa, and I think she looks up to her grandpa a lot, and she's having troubles with mean girls at her school who are bullying her, and she's having trouble like staying in her zone where she's not like sad all the time. So she's more like trying to fight the mean girls, like not fighting them, but like trying to keep them out of her head. That's gonna be the way of the world.
But she really wants to win, doesn't she?
Yes.
So what kind of talent do you have to do as Olive?
You gotta be a singer and a dancer, and it's kind of weird.
Cheryl is the mom in the Hoover family, and she's very dedicated to her family, and she works really hard at her job and also at being a mom.
And I'm going to ask you the big question. What's it like working with children?
The girls have been amazing. They have been amazing. It's, you know, they're off and on. They're not on the whole time, so it's kind of, you know, to get on and have to be 0 to 60 right away, like they have to do pretty much at multiple times in the show, is really challenging, and they've been doing a great job with that.
For me, what's iconic about it is not, you know, the Greg Kinnear role and not the actual person, but how connected and how relatable he is to most fathers and most people struggling to make it in modern society. So that to me is what's iconic about it. That's what is so universal, is how much I identify with that character.
In the end, guess who wins, right?
No.
You don't win? You don't get to, like, you put them in their place and be Little Miss Sunshine the winner?
To her family, she wins, but not in the pageant.
That is the way of the bum, 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 bum.
You can see Little Miss Sunshine for yourself through next Saturday, August 25th. That's at the Memorial Union Play Circle. You can catch the tickets online at artsticketing.wisc.edu. 7:18 right now. A new test could help pregnant women prevent a common condition, and the EpiPen could get a lot cheaper and easier to find in the coming months. Plus, cracking the code, how criminals are outsmarting technology to break into locked cars. Those stories and more next on News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Time now is 7:21. The live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville showing the fog starting to thin out and some sunshine working its way on through, whereas the WISC Skycam, the fog has gotten much thicker here just over the last maybe 20 minutes or so. As we check out visibilities, many locations seeing visibilities down around 0 or just above that. Other locations seeing visibilities between about 3 and 5 miles. Dense fog advisory remains in effect until 9 a.m. for Sauk, Columbia, Dodge, Iowa, Dane, and Jefferson counties, including the city of Madison. Current temperatures are right around 60 here in Madison, a little cooler to the north. Temperatures in the 50s there, in the 60s to our south and west. Dew point temperatures very close to the temperatures, 50s north and 60s to the south. Temperatures will slowly climb into the lower 80s as the fog lifts. Skies turn partly sunny. Look for a high temperature this afternoon of about 82 degrees. That's your first alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. 7:22 right now, and on the Health Watch, there is some good news this morning for people who carry an EpiPen. The Food and Drug Administration has approved a generic version of the self-injecting emergency allergy medication. It comes 2 years after EpiPen maker Mylan hiked the price of the life-saving device by more than 500%. The new version will be sold by Teva, which says it'll launch the new EpiPen in the coming months. A blood test could help determine which women are at risk for gestational diabetes as early as the 10th week of pregnancy. Researchers at the National Institutes of Health say identifying who is at risk earlier could help pregnant women make lifestyle changes with diet and exercise before the condition develops. Diabetes during pregnancy causes high blood sugar and can have risks for both mother and baby.
And people who gain weight
after quitting smoking face a temporary increase in the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. That's according to a new study in the New England Journal of Medicine, which found despite the risk, the benefits of quitting far outweigh the negatives. On the Consumer Watch this morning, new technology has helped to lower the rate of stolen cars and auto break-ins over the past decade. But now some criminals have figured out how to beat the technology and get into cars. Hannah Doba explains.
Like millions of Americans, Eric Ellis uses a key fob to unlock his car. The device only works within a close range. But on this surveillance video, you can see two people walk into Ellis's driveway and unlock his vehicle without the fob. One of them tries to open up other cars, but it doesn't work.
I look and everything from the glove box is sitting in the passenger seat. So that's when I knew that somebody had been in there.
Turns out the thieves only got away with some workout gear from Ellis's car, but police are seeing more cases where thieves open vehicles without a key. Roger Morris with the National Insurance Crime Bureau says in some cases, criminals are using an amplifying device like this one. If a fob is inside the home, the amplifier can grab the signal, send it to another device, and open the doors. To prevent it, you can keep your fob inside a metal box, aluminum foil, or a Faraday bag, a pouch designed to protect electronics from signal interference.
If you can block the signal, if you can block the radio frequency of the device communicating to the vehicle, then you could stop the effectiveness of these.
But crooks have also figured out how to steal a fob signal while you're using it. This recreation shows a driver getting out of his car and using the fob to lock it. Morris, in the blue jacket, uses a relay box to intercept the fob's code. The code is then immediately sent to a second man with a small box that now acts as the vehicle's fob, allowing him to unlock the car, open the door, start the car, and drive away.
Cars are basically computers on wheels, and anything that can defeat the computer system of a car is a very popular item among car thieves and hackers.
Morris says automakers are aware of this hacking technology and are working on improvements to stop it. Hannah Doba, CBS News, New York.
7:25 is your time right now. The day's top stories are straight ahead, including the first alert traffic notes that may impact you today and possibly this week. Plus, the kids are getting ready to head back to school, and we are helping you get them ready. The back-to-school trends and discounts you should know about as one of the busiest shopping seasons gets underway. Thanks for watching News 3 This Morning, Sunday. After 50 accidents in 1 year, an area school is shutting down the road in front of its building just in time for the first day of classes.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good morning and welcome back to News 3 This Morning Sunday. It is just about 7:30 on this August 19th. I'm Josh Breiter. We'll get a check on your forecast with Gary in just a moment, but first, we are still waiting this morning. This after a football player says he's been forced to take a leave of absence pending criminal charges. Junior wide receiver Quintez Cephas posted a letter on Twitter announcing he is taking a leave of absence from the team indefinitely as he deals with legal issues. Cephas says he could potentially be charged for an incident that happened in April. He says he has been wrongfully accused of unlawful conduct, adding he is innocent of any allegations in what was a consensual relationship. Madison Police Chief Mike Koval says his department is aware of the statement Cephas made on social media, but they will not be commenting further on the open investigation. This morning, a 74-year-old man is in jail facing a first-degree murder charge in the death of Julie Anderson. According to police, Ronald Jenny shot his across-the-hall neighbor at an apartment on Kearney Way in Waunakee Friday night. We're told her teenage son and 4-year-old grandson were also in the unit at the time. A neighbor of both the accused shooter and the victim heard gunshots and found the victim dead in her bedroom. A lot of downtown streets are going to be closed for the Outreach Pride Parade today. Capitol Square will be shut down from 11 o'clock this morning until 2 this afternoon. The intersection of State Street and the square will also stay closed until 4 for a post-parade rally. All roads that intersect with State Street except North Lake are also going to be closed this afternoon. You can find a full list of closures and bus detours on the City of Madison's website. And Gary, it sounds like another fantastic day of weather out there after we get through this fog.
That's the key phrase there, Josh. After we get rid of the fog, we're seeing some very reduced visibilities because of the fog. Locations like Watertown, Baraboo Dells Airport, Mineral Point, right now reporting near zero visibility. Visibility is starting to come up a little bit in Lone Rock. They were near zero earlier. Now they're up to 3/4 of a mile. But the fog will remain thick for about another hour or two before it starts to thin out. Dense fog advisory in effect until 9 a.m. for the central portion of our viewing area. But that does include areas south of the Dells and from Madison northward. As we check out current temperatures, they're right around 60 in Madison, a little cooler to the north and east. Mid to upper 50s there. To the southwest, temperatures are in the lower 60s. Those dew point temperatures almost the same as the actual air temperatures. That's why we're seeing the fog, but that means 60-degree plus dew points already in southern Wisconsin. And temperatures will gradually climb into the lower 80s once the fog lifts. Then skies turn partly sunny. Look for an afternoon high temperature of around 82 degrees. As we take a look at first alert traffic, there's the Beltline this morning. Just a few cars out there on, at the Beltline and Park Street from the DOT camera. As far as travel, pretty good on the Beltline right now. Still seeing occasional delays, mainly in the southbound direction on US 12 approaching Middleton. As far as travel times, about a 14 to 15 minute trip in either direction from University Avenue to the interstate on the Beltline. If you're heading toward Madison from on I-3990 from Janesville, about a 28-minute commute, 17 minutes from Sauk City to Middleton on US 12, and 13 minutes from Sunparade to downtown on US 151 East Washington Avenue. That's your first alert traffic.
All right, Gary, thank you. New this morning, students in Mount Horeb are preparing to head back to school tomorrow for the first time since a spike in suicide among young people over the summer. As kids return to the classroom for the new school year, teachers and school staff are prepared to answer some tough questions over the summer. 2 Mount Horeb graduates who were just 19 and 21 years old died by suicide. At least 3 Mount Horeb School District graduates or students have died by suicide since November. The death of a 10-year-old this summer is also being investigated as a possible suicide, according to police. The school board has been discussing ways to try to prevent future suicides, including hiring therapists and social workers in the schools. I will have much more on the Mount Horeb community's efforts to address mental health tomorrow morning on News 3 This Morning. Well, as college kids are heading back to school, the mother of a UW-Madison student who died from bacterial meningitis is asking university officials to require a vaccine to protect against the illness. Gail Bailey's son died from the rare but potentially fatal disease in 2002. She and immunization groups sent letters to several colleges asking them to join Indiana and Purdue universities in the vaccination requirement. Medical experts say students have an increased risk of acquiring bacterial meningitis because they tend to share food and drinks. A spokesperson from UW-Madison's University Health Services says they will not require the vaccines, but urge students to talk with their doctor about it. The month leading up to the new school year is one of the busiest shopping seasons of the year. And this morning we're joined by Renee Miller with some of those the hottest back-to-school trends in apparel, school essentials, and dorm decor. Thanks so much for joining us, Renee. Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
So what are some of the things you got? The whole spread here this morning.
I have a little bit of everything. We are definitely headquarters for back to school. We have backpacks from your kindergarten all the way up to college, all types of backpacks. Also, we have stuff to keep your lockers kind of up to date and a little bit more stuff you can put in them with the things that we have for that, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Also, we have dorm gear, so we have comforters, blankets. We even have a color printer for $14.99. We have your water bottles, your lunch pails for school. So we have a little bit of everything from kindergarten all the way up to college. Definitely a headquarters.
So, I mean, at Gordon's, obviously, this is a busy time of year for you guys.
Yes, very busy. We have a lot of back to school. We have the new trends coming in. So we have all types of clothing for men's, kids, women's, all the kind of trends coming in.
What are you guys kind of seeing right now as far as the kids wearing? It seems like every day or every year there's kind of a new thing.
Right now it's like the plaids, the destructive denim, just the graphic tees, rocker tees are really into. Same with like the roll-up pants. Those are some of the trends right now.
What are some of the deals that people can kind of expect if they come in here in the next couple weeks?
Oh, we have comforter sets that start at $19.99. Our backpacks start at $9.99. Lunch pails from Nike, Puma, those will start at $7.99 and up. So we have a lot of great deals, great pricing.
And one of the things, too, the donations that we want to mention.
Yes, we also have where our customers have been donating to our local schools. So we've been doing that, and I want to say thank you for all the customers that have been donating as well.
So if people are interested in checking out Gordman's, where can they check you guys out and get more of the discounts?
We are located in East Town Mall, Madison, Wisconsin, on the east side. So we are in that mall.
And it looks like, yeah, you guys have quite the spread, a little bit of everything for everyone.
A little bit of everything for everybody. So that's the amazing part. It's just one stop and you can get it done from kindergarten to college.
All right, well, Renee, thank you so much for waking up early with us this morning. Some good tips.
Thank you.
Well, our back to school bash continues. Now that we know what to wear for the new school year, we're reviewing what to eat. Coming up, we'll have more delicious recipe ideas that will fuel your students' long days as they head back to school. That's just ahead right here on News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Well, it's about 20 minutes to 8 this morning. Fog really reducing visibilities in some areas. Other places, not seeing much fog at all. There's the live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville. Not only is the fog thinning out, but so are the clouds. But the WISC Skycam, on the other hand, showing plenty of fog and low clouds, although the sun is starting to make an appearance through the clouds. And the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison showing very little fog there. Current visibilities, some areas seeing near zero visibility, other places seeing visibilities in the 3 to 5 mile range. Dense fog advisory remains in effect until 9 a.m. for the central part of our viewing area. Current temperatures range from the mid-50s well north of Madison to the middle 60s down toward the Illinois state line. Dew point temperatures are also pretty high in the 50s to the lower 60s. And look for temperatures to gradually climb as the fog lifts out and the skies turn partly sunny. Our afternoon high temperature around 4 p.m. at 82 degrees. That's your first alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. Well, heading back to school can be stressful and tiring for your kids, and that's why a filling nutritional lunch is also important to get them filled and focused. And this morning we've got Kimberly Amy joining us with the Badger Girls Learn to Cook with some delicious recipes, and you kind of got the whole spread out here. It smells good, too.
Smells good, yeah. So we're going back to school, and it's just so important to pack some good lunches, and also important to find some good shortcuts. And so today we're going to be making some chicken avocado pinwheels. We're going to be using these Keystone meats. So what I love about these is that it's just chicken and salt. So we just have 2 ingredients in here. So it's a great shortcut for busy mornings as we're trying to get protein in our kids, trying to pack things that are going to keep them full longer when they're at school. So I'm just going to quick grab my avocado because that is a key ingredient.
So yeah, what are kind of those things that, you know, obviously you want quick and easy, but you want to make sure you're getting the right ingredients, right?
Yeah, and I think that using something like these, where you're using a meat product, it's going to give them some nice protein. I think there's a stigma about canned meats, but I think that especially with this one, it's family owned, and like I said, it's just 2 ingredients. And so it's something they can quick whip together very fast. So we're going to be making some pinwheels. Okay. And the nice thing about this too is you can definitely make this the night before. And that means in the morning, all you have to do is cut them up and throw them in your lunchbox.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, let's get started. So we're going to start out with some chicken. And again, I just drained this. We flaked it up a little bit. And let me know if you want to jump in and do any of this. So you can see everything is prepped. And I do a lot of cooking with kids, and I think this is a really good way to do it because then you can just dump and mix. We're going to add some Greek yogurt. So kind of speaking of ingredients, this is another ingredient that's really good because it's non-fat Greek yogurt. It's nice protein. It's really good calcium. We're going to add this avocado. Now, I always recommend getting extra avocados because you never know what you're going to get when you open.
It seems like avocados are really on right now with a lot of foods.
Yeah, they are. And it's such a good, healthy fat. And they're creamy and they're healthy and they're kind of fun. So we got a good one. So we're just going to get that in there. We're going to pop this out.
That's always the tough thing. I feel like I never can find a good avocado.
I know. Well, the trick is you want to find something that's somewhat soft to the touch but not mushy.
Okay.
And I've also heard that if you check the bottom of it, if that this thing pops off, that's a good avocado. So that's a good one. So you have to use
Good to know.
All right. So we got that in there. I'm going to move this over here. Now we're going to start adding our other ingredients. We're going to add lime juice, which is going to add some nice brightness. It's going to keep that avocado nice and green. We're going to add some green onions just for some flavor. We have 2 chopped green onions. We have a ½ a cup of shredded cheese. Get that in there. We have some cilantro, and this is, you can smells so good.
Oh, yeah.
Adds a nice brightness. And then we're going to add some red onion. And this is also really good because it adds some crunch and it adds some color. So we're going to get this stirred all the way up. And mush that up as much as I can. Yeah, and you know, kids are going back to school this week, and I just think finding ways to kind of show them that you care and, give them a little break during the day. I think that, lunches like this or lunches that, are including some of their favorite foods, it just gives them something to look forward to. And also, helps them stay full because they have a lot going on in terms of getting used to new schedules, getting used to teachers.
Well, we've got to wrap up here real shortly, but if people are interested in getting more questions from you, how can they reach out to you?
For me, I blog at Badger Girl Learns to Cook, and you can follow me on Instagram at almost totally from scratch. If you're looking for some more recipes featuring some of the meat products from Keystone, you can check out their website and follow them on Twitter, Pinterest, and Instagram.
All right, well, Kimberly, thank you so much for waking up with us. Some great tips here. We'll get this all up on channel3000.com as well.
All right.
Let's take a live look outside right now. Another hazy start out there to our day. But the sun is going to return again. It's going to be another fantastic day, and Gary's got that forecast coming up when we come back. Stay with us.
Still have areas of dense fog this morning, but it is starting to thin out. It's a slow process, and it'll take a couple more hours before it's all gone. Still seeing near zero visibility at the Baraboo Dells Airport and Mineral Point, but now seeing visibility starting to improve at least to a quarter of a mile in areas that had zero visibility before. Dense fog advisory remains in effect until 9 a.m. for areas east of Lone Rock, south of the Dells, and from Madison and Edgerton northward. As we take a look at Doppler track, things very quiet across Wisconsin. Showers and thunderstorms out to the west, starting to head in our direction. We won't see them until late tomorrow morning or early tomorrow afternoon. To our south for tomorrow, there's a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms with gusty winds being the main threat. But around here, we could have the potential for some localized heavy rainfall amounts. Generally about 1 inch to almost 2 inches of rain across southern Wisconsin, but there could be some locally heavier amounts. And if that falls in areas that got a lot of rain last week, that could lead to problems. So we have an alert day in the forecast for tomorrow for the potential for some heavier showers and thunderstorms. Live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam at Platteville. You can see the clear skies there, very little in the way of fog. The WISC Skycam, you can barely make out the sun because of the thick fog here. And then you go downtown to Madison, and well, there's the Edgewater Skycam. More clouds there, but the fog at least is pretty thin, at least in the downtown area. 63 the current temperature. Skies are mostly cloudy. The air is calm, and the humidity at 100%. As we look at weather track, showers and thunderstorms to our south and west starting to head in our direction. There's actually a cold front and a couple of areas of low pressure that will combine and then track just to our south. So the main area of low pressure will pass to our south with the heaviest showers and storms staying across Illinois, but we'll still get a fair amount of rain. Temperatures right now 50s and 60s, and then you can see as we look at future track, those showers and storms heading in our direction. So look for highs today in the 80s, and then as those showers and storms come in from the southwest later tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon, we'll see pretty widespread rain across southern Wisconsin. For this morning, look for temperatures to climb to 77 by lunchtime as fog lifts and skies turn partly sunny. This afternoon's high temperature at 82. On future track, the fog thinning out, temperatures climbing into the low 80s this afternoon. Partly cloudy skies tonight with patchy fog, low temperatures in the middle 60s, and then the showers and storms arrive tomorrow into tomorrow afternoon. High temperatures in the upper 70s. Rainfall amounts, again, about 1 to 2 inches. There could be some localized heavier amounts and a heavier shower or thunderstorm, but as you take a look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, after the showers end on Tuesday, we're back up close to 80 on Wednesday and Thursday. Showers and thunderstorms on Friday, and then temperatures climb into the 80s for much of next week. Our pet walk picture, Trixie Ray from Fitchburg, looking pretty cute there. 81 degrees by 3 p.m. with partly sunny skies. She won't get lost in the fog, at least for this morning.
I hope not.
I hope not, too.
All right, Gary, thank you so much. Well, be sure to stick with Channel 3000 and News 3 today. Tonight at 5:30 and 10, we're heading to the Pride Parade. Why people who participate say it's such an important event for the local community. But first, growing, giving, and learning life lessons they can take with them during life after prison. The first of its kind inmate farm stand and the stories behind the men and women participating when News 3 This Morning Sunday returns. Welcome back at 7:54. Here in Madison, we all know the importance of a good farmer's market. To our east, though, a new smaller farm stand in Indiana is open for business. It's selling crops grown by inmates at a local jail. As Caroline Torrey reports, this is much more than growing and selling.
Absolutely, yeah. Tomatoes, chickens, and strawberries. No, this is not your grandma's garden. This is jail.
This is our farm. Farm's an acronym for Fostering a Recovery Mentality.
Stark County Jail inmates work the soil and reap the benefits.
It's very therapeutic.
The benefits come in the form of produce and pride.
I catch myself even going back inside at night, thinking of what we can do out here better to better the garden. The water comes from the fish tank here.
Everyone here calls 26-year-old Jacob Ritchie the fish tank specialist. He's become the resident expert on the aquaponics system. It's a way of growing plants by using fish waste as fertilizer.
And we just make constant rows.
This has become his new passion, a much different way of life than what sent him to jail in the first place.
I was actually pulled over. They found the meth in the car.
His addiction started 2 years ago. He's clean now and determined not to end up back here unless he comes willingly.
I said I'd like to be able to come back periodically, just check up on the systems that they have and the new ideas that are coming.
28-year-old Daniel Allen is also in on drug charges. He uses the soil as self-help.
It just helps to, have time to think and realize what you've done wrong and work on some of the mistakes in your character.
The inmates have to earn their time outside of the bars and barbed wire. They tend to the garden, care for the chickens, and spend a lot of time thinking.
We put stuff in the ground to see things come out of the ground that we did. It's inspiring and very therapeutic for us. Makes us want to come out and work harder every day.
The eggs are served on Sundays and the extra produce is donated. But jail staff and inmates believe the people that work this soil are sowing something inside themselves as well. Kristen Bean, WSBT 22 News.
Oh, neat story there, and all this food stock has got me hungry, Gary.
I know, it's getting me hungry too. We got to get rid of the fog first, though. We still have a dense fog advisory in effect until 9 a.m. for the central part of our viewing area, but that does include Madison. Visibility is right now around zero in a couple of places, but starting to improve in others. Current temperatures are in the 60s for the most part, mid-60s south of Madison. Look for temperatures to climb into the upper or lower 80s for today, and then into the 70s for tomorrow with showers and thunderstorms. And you can see those shower and thunderstorm chances back on Friday, but a warm spell of weather as we head into next week.
All right, thanks for joining us. Have a great day.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.